G'day. Let's have a chat about the false economy of wait and see. Way back in episode 95 of this show, I spoke about how impatience, rather than patience, can actually be a virtue. Now, I'll put a link to that episode in the comments below so you can go and check it out. And yesterday morning, I got a slightly different slant on this when I headed off for my morning walk in the park, only to find that the gate to the park was locked and there was 20 odd people standing around waiting. They were clearly adopting a wait and see approach. Now, there's a couple of things to keep in mind about this situation. Number one, it was a good hour and a half since the park would normally be open, so it's not like the guy with the key was just running a bit late. And number two, nobody was waiting around for a business meeting. All these people were there to exercise, but still they adopted a wait and see approach. Me, alternatively, looked at things a little bit differently and I said, well, there's only two things that I know for sure. Number one, the gate is locked, and number two, I have no idea when or if it's going to reopen. And so what I decided to do was take a slightly more impatient approach and headed off in another direction around the road so that I could walk to one of the other entrances to the park. And I figured if I'm lucky, one of those entrances will be open. If not, at least I've got my morning exercise, which was the whole purpose of being there in the first place. Sure enough, as I headed around the road, I passed two other entrances to the park, only to find that they were also closed and they would have normally been open. Ultimately, though, I arrived at one of two main entrances which were open, and all they were doing is ensuring that they had better control of entry and access, so people were checking in and scanning and temperature checking, all those things that are now normal in the COVID-19 world in which we live. And to me, the lesson in that is that there's a real false economy associated with wait and see. I think way too often we are too quick to judge and criticize those people that take the more impatient approach, suggesting that they just don't have the temperament to wait it out. And we tend to not glorify, but we tend to think more favorably of those that adopt a more patient wait and see approach. But clearly in this case, the wait and see approach wasn't going to work because that gate was not going to be open all day. And the people that were there for a little bit of morning exercise. And so just adopting a wait and see approach is truly a false economy in that situation. Had they done what I'd done, which is headed off in another direction, they would have not only got their morning exercise regardless of whether the gate opened, but they would have found that one of the other gates was also open. And so quickly enough, I was in the park, assuming my normal walking routine, and everything was wonderful. So not always does a wait and see approach make sense. Sometimes there is a false economy with wait and see. Alrighty, that is it for today. I do appreciate your time, and I will be back again tomorrow. See ya.